All right, heading into Blankets Creek. These are my home trails where I ride probably, I don't even know, maybe 2 to 4 times a week, I would say. This is the green connecting trail. Nice flat area. Back on the fire road now. Riding this up to the junction of some of the trails. What's up? Turning off right here to head towards South Loop and the beginning of Gnarnia. Up here at the top of South Loop, where Gnarnia starts. This is a black diamond trail. Gnarnia is a double black. We'll start out on South Loop and then, who knows, maybe we'll go over to Gnarnia today as well. South Loop is a very natural terrain trail. A lot more twisty and turny, rocky and rooty than some of the other trails here at Blankets Creek, like Dwelling and Van Michael, which are much more flow trails. Always a ton of pine straw. Super loose pine straw covered flat turns. Not my favorite. It also looks like the Joro spiders are coming out early this year, which I am absolutely terrified of spiders. So we'll see how that goes. After this little uphill here we just did, nice little bit of flow, which is few and far between on South Loop. Oh, and there's a spider in the middle of the trail, ruining the flow. Hup, I'll hook off that, and then down the chute. One of the funnest sections on South Loop. This section right here is probably my least favorite section of this trail. Very techie climb. Honestly, it's best just to charge through it. Pretty sweet section through here. A little bit more flow, but it's abruptly halted by super tight S-turns. Like, don't get me wrong, South Loop is a good trail, but it's definitely a type of trail. The type that's twisty, turny, technical, slower, very natural. It's like slow flat tech rather than like slow uphill tech or downhill. It's just very tight section right here. Whew. Almost never actually do that. It's so tight. Definitely a pedal grabber. A little bit of mud. All right, skinny coming up. I'm gonna try it. Not my favorite, but nice plop off the end. Take this high line here, coming down through. This section here, a little more flow and reward, which is nice. And then right back to the climb. You know, with the Bosch update, the 100 Newton meters of torque, I really feel it on these kind of trails where the corners are tight and twisty and you have to brake and slow down a lot. And then going into a punchy climb, the torque is just there. You get back up to speed so quickly. Very cool. Pop over this. There we go. Coming up on some rock gardens up here. The trail kind of winds around these a little bit. I'm gonna go through them just because I like them. Kind of dumps you out by the lake. I mentioned South Loop, and most of the scenery out here actually is really great. Great for a hike as well. And that is the end of South Loop. Gnarnia, here we go. Through the entrance, straight through a spider web. Great sign. Whoop. Kind of hooks down here, but they're fun. Whoop. 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 Some nice skinnies as we come across here. Has some pretty serious off-camber sections, a lot of exposure. Definitely one of the harder trails in the area. More technical, at least. Tight switchbacks. Trail's only about 1.4 miles long. It's fairly short. Packs in some serious tech stuff coming up though. Super tight switchbacks. So through this section is where the exposure gets pretty real. Taking across the rocky, rooty bits right here on the edge. I take the high line here because I feel like it's just a little bit better angle to come down into things. All right, control the speed. You can pretty much roll it. Off through here, straight down through here. Here we go. Cross the creek. Definitely a lot of exposure through this section as well. Goliath drop, definitely not messing with that. It's an insane drop. A little bit of flow section finally through here. To watch your speed through here, because this jump spits you out right down the side of the mountain if you're not careful. Right, just came down this little chute. Keep going. That's basically all of Gnarnia. There's a bit of it that twists through the woods if you don't do the chute that I just did. But now we'll meet back up to it right here. The standard trail comes down through here and we meet right back here. And we're out. Now we're kind of back in between all these connector type trails between South Loop, Gnarnia, spitting us back out to the fire road where dwelling is at the bottom of the holler. Heading out on dwelling, following Michael. It's a tough choice between dwelling and Van Michael for my favorite trail out here. I do love them both. See the holler off to our left over here? Some of their crazy bike park style jumps. Almost BMX style jumps, really. Advanced line here is not very advanced. So a little bit of a drop there, but honestly, it's a roll. Definitely not a drop, sorry about that. Just rolls down. I like to kind of drop off of it. So they have recently come through and opened up these trails quite a bit for adapted bikes, which I think is pretty cool. They definitely done dwelling. I don't think they've done Van Michael. Not sure if there's any plans for that or not. But this is a super fast, flowy section. Made really nice by the track adjustments. Here's another section, advanced, intermediate. We're taking the advanced line. Oh yeah. The intermediate line is more of kind of the same what we've just been riding on. This one definitely spits out some pretty good steppy up climbs. Try to give Michael a little bit of room. So this winds us around to the top of Dwelling at the start of Rock and Roll and Rhythm and Blues flow lines. All right, dropping into the flow lines at the top of Dwelling. At the beginning right here, they are the same line. We're gonna split down here after a couple berms. Oh. It's coming up here. We're going to go left down Rhythm and Blues. Get ready to drop into a step up here called Mock Chicken. A lot of fun. Whew. Awesome. Flattens out a bit here. And drop in this little tabletop section. I'll show you guys the end of the trail here. Flows around off the drop here. Kind of just a huck, and then to end it. All right. Dropping back into the flow lines. This time we're going to go straight, I guess, to the right for Rock and Roll. This is a nice tabletop section. Lots of fun. Over this hip into this big berm. The biggest of the tables. That's really it for the jumps. We got a couple more little things. Some nice berms. Little guy there. That's it. Now we're heading back up chutes and ladders. It's a climb to back up to the top of dwelling to session the flow lines. I don't know if you guys can see the insane Joro spider webs to the side of this trail, but it gives me maximum anxiety seeing those things out this early in the year. We'll hit the rest of dwelling now. Let's call it the OG out. How's it going, guys? Super loose corner. Corner's always loose. This is at the end of the flow lines here. The flow lines pit back up into dwelling. Take the advanced line here, show you guys this. The advanced line on this direction has one of my favorite sections of trail out of any on dwelling. Yeah, we're gonna go up it. Around this corner here, and then we'll get into one of my favorite sections of trail at Blankets Creek. Here we go. Dwelling advanced line. Awesome section of trail there. All right, dwelling advanced line, ginger shred gap. It's a pretty sizable gap, really, but man, it's butterly smooth. Such a smooth landing on that. We'll roll straight into these gaps down here by the lake. Kept a little bit of speed up. There goes Michael. Whoop. Nice and easy. And then this one, man, it's just such a booter. Not in for it, really. And that's pretty much the end of Dwelling Loop. Definitely a phenomenal trail if you guys ever get a chance down here. Come to Blankets. This one in Van Michael is a must if you don't have enough time to ride everything. We'll be moving on to Van Michael next. Check it out. All right, heading out on Van Michael. Like I mentioned before, this is an awesome trail. Definitely hard pick between this one and Dwelling for my favorite, actually. A little bit of flow down. So most of these trails are alternating out here. Some nice tabletops coming the other direction. Gap jump back there. All right, gonna hit this feature at the top of Van Michael. Little diving board drop. The run in is pretty sketchy, and so is the run out. Take this alt line here to a smaller log drop. It's not very big, but super fast and fun. Whew. Now, bit of downhill. This section here is one of my favorites. Super fast and flowy. To a nice jump. Be careful because it's pretty much to flat. We're down to the creek. Cool section. Nice step up, coming the opposite direction. Nice fun section here. Some awesome berms. The biggest berm out here. Oh, such a cool berm. And that's it for Van Michael. Definitely one of the coolest trails out here. Have to come check it out. How's it going? Right. It's the last little bit of Mosquito Flats. Heading out back to the parking lot. Back on the fire road now. Heading out. Blankets Creek really is an awesome place to ride. Definitely come check it out if you're in the metro Atlanta area.